I have a series of questions that have come in from all of our listeners over the last couple of days. And I wanted to go through those and answer some of those questions from a cleaner's perspective, not from the Airbnb host's perspective. All right. So I'm going to throw these questions up here and then we will just answer these one by one and we'll do our best here. So, what strategies do you use to maintain high cleanliness and hygiene standards in your vacation rental properties? This is a great question because since the pandemic, all of the cleaning changed a little bit. And one of the things that we noticed from regular cleaning companies that are just cleaning biweekly customers' homes, the high touch areas. But with the Airbnb industry, it kind of went up a level. And the reason is there are a lot of high touch areas that are inside homes that get more use with an Airbnb guest. So, for example, in a bathroom, we might just go ahead and wipe everything down as we normally do. But in an Airbnb, everything that can be touched has got to be considered a high touch area. So it's not just the faucets, which are going to be high touch in a regular home, but it's the faucets, it's the knobs on the cupboards that are below the bathroom sink. All that stuff could be touched by different guests. And so if somebody's sick, we don't know if they're sick. We hope they're not. But going into flu season, those are some considerations. So every knob in the house, every drawer, every bedstand handle, those are not necessarily high touch areas in a home because a customer's home, those are their germs. But where we have lots of people coming in, every back of the chair, like if somebody goes to pull out a chair, the back of that chair has to be wiped down. That is a high touch area. The handle on the microwave is, I did like this. This is a stove or an oven. The handle on the oven, the handles on the microwave, the doors on the fridge, all of those handles, doors on the dishwasher. If you have a dishwasher in your Airbnb, those all have to be considered high touch areas. While they've been cleaned before, since the pandemic, everything has got to be sanitized. All of the light switches in the house, every doorknob, both the front and the back of the door. We don't know how the people are using the doors, whether they're closing the bedroom door in your B&B at night or whether if they've got like the whole house area, if they're leaving those doors open, we don't know. And so from guest to guest to guest, we want to make sure both sides of the doorknobs are wiped down. Also, there's about a foot and a half that goes above each door knob and about a foot and a half below, where people will just kind of push the door with their hands as they're walking through the door, like, hey, I'm closing the door now. As they're closing the door, their fingers get on those panels and they're, 6 panel doors, interior doors, but those are also high touch areas. So we want to get above and below each of the doorknobs, front and on the inside of the front door. If there's a garage door or if there's a back door, same rule applies. Of course, every chair and then underneath the tables. Like if people pull themselves up to a table, they'll be grabbing the table from the top and underneath the table. So all of the tabletops where people sit, and then underneath the tables, which is an often overlooked area, those are all high touch areas. So there are a couple weird little nuances, but ever since the pandemic and the world has become so incredibly aware of germs, those are some high touch areas. So we want to pay attention to those. And if you'll make a list, like a checklist, you won't forget it and your house cleaners won't forget it. But it's easy to know the high touch areas, but not articulate them. And then somebody that comes in, let's say a cleaning service that comes in and they're used to cleaning inside people's homes, they may not clean like underneath the table because it, it's just the family. Their germs are their germs, right? Their high touch areas are going to be the light switches and the doorknobs, for example. And so in an Airbnb, there are a little bit different areas that we have to look out for. All right, the next one. How do you balance cost effectiveness with maintaining the quality of service provided by your manager and housekeeper? Now, this is an interesting question because the consideration of cost effectiveness comes up all the time. The Airbnb owner and property manager are trying to save as much money as possible because the more profit they keep, the more money they make, right? And then for the house cleaning company, they're in business to stay in business as well. And so they have to be paid a living wage. Otherwise, they can't afford to keep coming and cleaning your property. And you don't want to chintz on the house cleaning service or the property management service because that's the person that's going to ensure that more guests keep coming. If you get bad ratings and reviews, people are going to stop coming, right? So there's only a select amount of people that will come to a property just because it's the cheapest. So you want to make sure you have the best ratings and reviews as well. And so the secret to making sure that you have a cost effective program is that you are charging enough money for the property that you have, or you're charging a cleaning fee. And that cleaning fee oftentimes is a pass through fee that is charged right up front from the rental and then passes on to the house cleaner that comes. And you got to make sure that you charge enough for the cleaning fee that you can afford to have them come and keep them on staff. So to find a good cleaning company, you're going to have to pay. I know that all of the cleaning labor costs have gone up across the board since the pandemic, as well as insurance, fuel, cleaning supplies, cleaning equipment. Everything has gone up since the pandemic. So expect to pay about 30% more today than you did 3 years ago for the same service. It's kind of the way it is. All right. If you guys have any other questions that come up, if you're watching the replay, leave them in the links below and I will respond to them just as soon as I possibly can because I want to make sure you guys do get your questions answered. So we will be here same time, same place next week. All right. Until then, have a great week and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.